What is up YouTube? I'm Galdite74 here, bringing you guys week 9 of APM's Fun League. This week we are taking on Lord of the Acorn, or for short Acorn, and coach of the Boise Blazikens. We are going into this game with a 6-2 record, while my opponent is going into this game with a 2-6 record. Now before I get into any parts of this video, I want to let you guys know that I recently made a Discord, and the link is in the description below, as it has been for the past decent amount of videos now. It's not the most active in the entire world, but once APM ends and PEBA, probably closer to when PEBA ends, it'll start to be more active with activities and stuff to do in there. Just want to let you guys know that that exists. But to recap what happened last week for you guys in this league, we defeated Jed in our biggest W of the season, and we clinched playoffs because of it. So that's really cool. We don't have to worry about not making playoffs in this league. The dream to reclaim our championship is still alive for longer as of right now, and hopefully we can reclaim the championship that we currently hold. However, we have to face Acorn this week, and he is in our way. We fought a Mega Mewtwo X last week, and now we have to go against Y this week, which is really annoying and very terrifying for my team. He also has a few other threats on his team that we can now go ahead and talk about. And we can start this by looking at Lord's team first. His team this week consists of Mega Mewtwo Y, Reshiram, Bisharp, Darmanitan, Staraptor, Heliolisk, Torkoal, Gastrodon, Ribombee, Miltank, Hitmonlee that can Dynamax, and Victory Bell with Z moves. Now I expect him to bring consist of Mega Mewtwo Y, Reshiram, Bisharp, Darmanitan, Torkoal, and Miltank. He could drop Torkoal and bring Gastrodon if he doesn't want to bring Sun, and then Heliolisk just because Heliolisk against my particular team is pretty good. But otherwise, these are the 6 I'm expecting him to bring. His 2 Ubers are Mega Mewtwo Y and Reshiram. I'm going to talk about Mega Mewtwo Y. That is so much more scary to my team than Mega Mewtwo X. It's actually insane. There's this move called Psy Strike that exists that Mewtwo has, and it is very terrifying. I can't really make a special wall out of something because Psy Strike exists, and all of my, on the opposite side, it gets Flamethrower too to stop my Mega Scizor as well. I think the set's going to be Calm Mind, Psy Strike, Flamethrower, Recover. Like, I'm pretty confident this is the Mewtwo set, because at +1 with a plus Calm Mind up, it kind of just kills everything. And that is a very terrifying thing, and it's really fast, so you can't really revenge it easily either. So I'm going to have a lot of problems with Mewtwo. The other Uber is Reshiram. This thing's not nearly as scary as the Mewtwo, solely because I have a Hoho that sort of walls it. Yeah, I guess Specs can kind of break through my Hoho, but it's not as hard to deal with. Plus, I have a Dugtrio that can trap things, which, spoilers, is coming this week, and even if Reshiram gets a kill, Dugtrio just comes in and kills it. So it's not really the biggest threat in the entire world. Yes, I might claim a kill, but it's whatever. The other biggest threat on my opponent's team, what I personally think, is Bisharp. If Bisharp gets to +2, there's this thing called I lose, and that's it. Like, the game's over if Bisharp gets up to +2 and I don't get like Sucker Punch 50-50s right. I did prepare a lot for this Bisharp. Like, I think 90% of my prep went against the Mewtwo and the Bisharp in this game, because everything else isn't that big of a threat, and just letting Bisharp having free turns is terrifying. Miltank, my answers are limited, plus it's a rocker, that's why I could see it coming, but again, not the biggest threat in the world. And that's kind of a basic wrap-up of my opponent's team. Nothing else is really scary, it's just the Mega Mewtwo Wyson right there, and the Bisharp. The goal in this game is to get hazards up. Dugtrio traps half of the team, so I mean, Dugtrio is going to get a bunch of kills, and don't lose to Mewtwo. That is just the goal of this week. But what I'm bringing to this game consists of Dugtrio, Latios, Seismitoad, Mega Scizor, Hoho, and Cofagrigus. I do want to emphasize how important Dugtrio is in this game this week. It is a Choice Scarf set with Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Stone Edge, and Sucker Punch. Now, I have Scarf for a few reasons, mainly because it is to have an easier time revenging Mewtwo. Darmanitan Scarf 90% of the time, and I want my Dugtrio to effectively trap Darm, so that's why I want to be faster than that. And the same with the Reshiram if that decides to be Scarf. I don't think Scarf Reshiram is going to come, but for the off chance it does, that's that. The Dugtrio traps so many Pokemon on my opponent's team. Let me just list them off real quick. Mewtwo, it does over half with Earthquake. Reshiram, it traps. Darm, it traps. Heliolisk, it traps. Torkoal, I need a little bit of chip because Torkoal's pretty fat, but I can still trap that. Hitmonlee without the boost, and Victory Bell without Sun. So, like, that's half the team right there. And that is just insane how good Dugtrio is there, too. He can even beat Staraptor in a 1v1 scenario that would have to click Stone Edge instead of Earthquake, and that's never fun. And there's a few mons that do beat Dugtrio, but that's not really what Dugtrio is here for. It's just so good to trapping and kind of help me out for my late game a little bit later. And it's just, again, it's gonna prevent my opponent from basically setting up and sweeping me for the most part. So that is Dugtrio. Next up is going to be Latios. Latios is max attack, max speed for the most part. with the Cobra Berry moves being Dragon Pulse, Energy Ball, Hidden Power Fighting, and Toxic. Now, Dragon Spam is pretty good in this game, that's why I decided to bring this. I have Toxic for the Mewtwo just so I could hit a Calm Mindset. And I have the Cobra Berry and HP Fighting to deal with the Bisharp. I did mention if Bisharp gets up to +2, I basically lose the game. If Latios switches out on a Pursuit, it dies. On a Sucker Punch, it can die. So I have the Cobra to help me out there. And since I want to just stay in on this thing and kill it as fast as I can, I have HP Fighting Fog in this set, but the Bisharp's just too big of a threat. I needed HP Fighting. Latios gets a lot of free switch-ins in this game, particularly on stuff like the Torkoal, the Gastrodon, the Heliolisk if it's not Specs, and then a few other things in the lower tiers. And I felt like that was going to be very helpful in this game just to spam off attacks. Because yes, they have a robot ever going to come against my team just because of how good my first two mons are in Hoho and Mega Scizor. So yeah, Latios is going to do a lot this game, and its speed tier is really nice to end it off there. Third is going to be Seismitoad. This is a pretty standard Toad with Rocky Helmet. Back to the defensive sets. Max defense with Stealth Rock, Toxic, Earthquake, and Power Whip. Just here to just get up rocks. It has a good matchup for the most part. It can deal with a lot of my opponent's physical attackers, like the Darmanitan and the Staraptor namely. A Bandit Staraptor is still going to do a lot of damage, but that thing is going to take basically half in recoil if it clicks the Brave Bird or Double Edge, so that's, I'm fine with that, to be honest. Makes my Dugtrio a little bit easier to work with. And just a few other mods Seismitoad is really good against. The Gastro, I power up and Toxic, a Torkoal, just because I can beat the Torkoal. Hitmonlee, I can always take a hit from, and even the Bisharp too. In a 1v1 scenario, I can beat that. So Toad, it's pretty standard stuff, but it has a really good matchup in this game. And I can also take a hit from the Mewtwo. Next is going to be Mega Scizor, and this is weird, because this is my win con of the week, quote, quote. I have a decent amount of attack and defense with HP, no speed basically, with Swords Dance, Superpower, Bullet Punch, and Roost. Why is this my possible win con when there's like 18 fire types on my opponent's team? Well, my goal into this game, like I said, was to get hazards up, particularly rocks and a T-Spike, and that just neuters Torkoal and Darmanitan a lot, as well as the Reshiram. I do need to fully get rid of the Reshiram before this thing can really do anything, but at +2, a Bullet Punch does like 50 to 60 Darmanitan. Getting chip on Darmanitan is not that hard in a game, so I'm okay with that. Torkoal, I'm going to need to chip that down as well, but chipping Torkoal down is going to be a lot easier than Reshiram, just because Torkoal is pretty passive, so that's not going to be too hard of a thing. And at +2, a Superpower is still going to be nuking through like a Gastrodon who resists Bullet Punch, and a few other mons as well. And just Bullet Punch is just so good once the fire types and Gastro are gone. And Scizor just has some good natural bulk to take some hits on this team as well. This is especially on the Miltank, which I do expect Miltank to come, and Scizor is expected to set up on front of Miltank. So I'm going to keep that in my mind. I keep saying so, I apologize. It's just a part of my vocabulary I use a lot. And I also have Bullet Punch just in case Mewtwo gets out of hand. I can do a decent amount of chip to clean up with it. So that is Mega Scizor. Fifth up is going to be our mandatory Uber. It is Hoho. This is also pretty defensive with a little bit of attack with the Boots. Boots being a Sacred Fire, Brave Bird, Earthquake, and Roost. I didn't quite want to run Boots on this set, but I didn't really want to squeeze Defog on Latios or Scizor, so I mean we're going to have to run Boots. It's pretty fine. This is mainly here solely to deal with the two Ubers in Mega Mewtwo and Reshiram. Hoho doesn't really do too much outside of that. I guess the Rabombi, but otherwise it's not the most important in this game, but dealing with two Ubers is still a really big role in itself because I'm expecting them to both come. And especially the Reshiram, because that's what Hoho is mainly walling, because Reshiram isn't really doing too much to my Hoho at all. And Brave Bird's pretty spammable in this game, Sacred Fire, just standard stuff with Hoho. Not much else to talk about, it's here. And then finally we have Cofagrigus. This is also max defense with the Cobra Berry. I have Hex, Body Press, Pain Split, and T-Spikes. Once again, not giving Bisharp any free turns. I have Body Press with Cobra Berry. I'll let anyone hit, and I'll just knock it out. T-Spikes are pretty good in this game. Not the most crucial, but still pretty nice to have. I only say not the most crucial because if Torkoal comes, it's going to spin. And I don't really want to have my Cofagrigus to spin block Torkoal because I'm not spin def, and a Lava Plume will do a lot of damage. But it's still going to be pretty nice for the team, and just, standard Cofagrigus stuff with Hex and stuff. I didn't want Toad to be too pressured to deal with the Darm, the Staraptor if it decides to come, the Hitmonlee, like all that stuff. So Cofagrigus kind of takes the weight off of Seismitoad's shoulders. And that's why Cofagrigus is going to be here this week. And that is going to wrap it up for this team builder. I apologize for how many times I said so there. I'm not sure why I did that. But other notes is that I can't have Dugtrio in on Bisharp because Bisharp actually does beat my Dugtrio in a 1v1 scenario. So I have to be careful with Bisharp trapping my Dugtrio, ironically. But that's going to wrap it up for the team builder. We're going to head over to Pokemon Showdown, and we're going to watch the battle. Alright, we are here on Pokemon Showdown, and there's no Reshiram on my screen, which absolutely blew my mind. So the thumbnail is looking a little clickbaity right now. There's also no Torkoal, but there's a Staraptor, which I'm completely okay with. In regards to lead, I'm going to lead off with the Toad. Rocks look really good here, and I want to get them up ASAP. His only removal is Defox Staraptor, and that's not a thing realistically. So they're going to lead off a Miltank. We're going to trade Rocks here turn 1. I'm completely okay with this. My boots on Hoho are looking fine and dandy. I don't want to take a Toxic on this. I'd rather it be on the Cofagrigus, so I'm going to Cofagrigus now, as they actually go out into Staraptor, and I'm okay with that. This Cofagrigus is kind of meant for this, to be honest. As they're going to go for U-turn, I see this as an opportunity to get a T-Spike up, because they also look pretty decent in this game, and it's just a nice way to chip down Darmanitan as the Bisharp comes in. Now, if you guys watch the Team Builder, I am Colbert Berry with Body Press just to deal with this Bisharp. As they go for knockoff, I should live this, and I do live it. They are going to get Mummy, and they have Life Orb. So a lot of information going down there, but I'm going to Body Press and knock out this Bisharp. And that was such a huge turn, because I did reiterate a lot that Bisharp was such a big threat to my team, and it being gone is just really great, and I have all my hazards up. Staraptor is getting hella low already. They're going to go for Brave Bird and knock out my Cofagrigus. Cofagrigus has done its job, but it's going to take the recoil, it's going to lose Reckless, and it's just, again, pretty low. I'm going to Mega Scizor. Mega Scizor looks really good here. If they want to go into Darm, they can take all the hazards, chips. That's kind of fine with me, as they're just going to sack the Staraptor at this point, which is probably the smarter play, as I lose Technician, but they're going to go down. So by turn 6, it's already 5-4, a pretty fast-paced game. Darm's going to come out now. Scizor looks really good for this endgame, so I'm going to just save it and go out into the Toad. Toad is a very easy switch-in, as they're just going to click U-turn. That is not banded. That looks pretty scarfed like I kind of expected. And now the Miltank is going to come out and take the T-Spike and the Rocks damage, which is pretty nice. Now, with Cofagrigus gone, my answers to Miltank actually aren't that great. It's literally only Mega Scizor and hoping he doesn't click Miltank a bunch of times, which is a little scary. But they have Facade, which is pretty funny because it does 13% to my Scizor, but despite them being poisoned. I'm going to go for Roost just to try and stay healthy for this thing later, in case it's hiding like Fire Punch in the back. I don't know. As you know, I'm going to be able to full here. This Miltank shouldn't be doing too much to me because it's a Miltank after all, and it's more defensive. This turn I'm going to click Superpower. I don't think they have Fire Punch at this point, but I'm going to click it, and this Miltank is hella bulky because that is like max HP, max defense. Because I'm at -1, I'm actually not confident that Bullet Punch will knock this thing out from this range, so I'm actually going to switch out and go on the Toad, just in case they, again, were Fire Punch. I doubt it at this point, but it's just, I'm trying to be safe on all levels, as they just go for Facade, and they're going to just die to Poison instead of clicking Milk Drink. So that's pretty nice. I'm going to try and talk a little bit slower at this point. Yeah, it's 5-3, Darm comes right back out, I'm not sure why, but they're going to go for Flare Blitz. Laura told me this was a roll, I'm not sure what the actual roll was, but they do miss out on it. And I do apologize, as I'm going to knock out this Darmanitan with the Earthquake. The Poison would have took him out anyway, but still, my Toad is still alive. They got on the Gastro. I power up for this very scenario, and as I'm going to go for it, they're going to live on 5%, and they're going to miss a Toxic. So, yeah, that sucks. I really apologize for that. Toad's getting a little bit lucky here, living hits and missing dodging Toxics all around. But here is the big threat. This is the Mega Mewtwo Y I've been hyping up. This thing is very scary. I'm just going to hard switch out, man. I'm going to just send out my Ho and hope I can take a hit, as the Mewtwo is going to Mega Evolve, obviously, and they're going to click Calm Mind. I'm just like, alright, here we go. They are on a Toxic timer, the Poison timer, so it's not that scary. And Psystruck is a roll to kill, and they do 91%, so yeah, this game's going to end here because they're going to die to the Toxic Spike damage, and Ho is going to go down to Recoil. That was either a really, really low roll, or he's not fully invested in this attack, so again, another low roll on my opponent's part. I apologize, but that's the game. GG to Lord, we are going to win 4-0 here. After doing match stats for this game, I realized that Cofagrigus was 3-1 this game due to Toxic Spikes, which is absolutely awesome. For my lowest tier to pick on my team, it's putting in a bunch of work this season, and I'm really happy with how it's performing. Once Bisharp dropped in this game, I felt really great, to be honest, just because that was like the biggest threat, next to Mewtwo. And Dugtrio didn't really come out in this game, which really shocked me. But again, yeah, we win 4-0. GG to my opponent Acorn. Thank you for the battle. I apologize for moving it back that one day just because of what was going on. But we are going to move up to 7-2 with only one more game left this season. We are going to be facing Puffer next week. And I want to talk about this because Puffer is a game behind. And if Puffer defeats Aramoth, there is a very high chance that we face in the playoffs. So there is a decent chance we will meme next week, or at least not take it as seriously. If Aramoth does beat Puffer, there's a chance that Puffer is not even going to make it into playoffs, so then we might try. I'm not sure how serious next week's battle is going to be, but you guys will know when next week's battle comes out as soon as the video starts. So that's going to be next week's battle, and that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thank you guys for watching so much. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you like Pokemon Draft League content, consider subscribing to the channel. I'm out of here. Have a fantastic day, YouTube.